The news broke quietly, almost as a whisper in the late hours, but its echoes would soon be heard around the world. Its impact, however, was seismic. Taiwan had proposed funding for Philippine military bases, a move that no one saw coming and few could immediately comprehend. Headlines flashed across the globe, lighting up screens and front pages, leaving diplomats and analysts scrambling for answers and context. For decades, the Indo-Pacific's delicate balance relied on unwritten rules and careful diplomacy. This bold move shattered that choreography, upending expectations overnight. The story, sourced from a U.S. Congressional Commission report, spread rapidly, unsettling markets and governments from Tokyo to Canberra, and sending shockwaves through financial and political circles alike. Taiwan, long under threat from China, was signaling a new era. No longer a passive player, but an active architect of its own security, determined to shape its destiny rather than simply react to external pressures. The proposal wasn't just about money, it was a declaration of agency, a statement that Taiwan would no longer be sidelined in regional security matters. Foreign ministries worldwide buzzed with urgent calls, trying to decipher whether this was a U.S. coordinated maneuver, a calculated risk by Taipei, or perhaps a new chapter in regional alliances. The ambiguity only heightened the shock, forcing every nation to reassess its stance and raising questions about the future of the Indo-Pacific order. Most eyes turned to Beijing, where the initial silence from state media spoke volumes, hinting at the gravity of the situation and the uncertainty it brought. When China finally responded, the fury was unmistakable. This was no routine provocation, but a direct challenge to its One China principle and a test of its resolve. The partnership between Taiwan and the Philippines now represented a new, military-adjacent link in China's backyard, a development that could reshape the region's security architecture. The old playbook was obsolete, its pages rendered useless by the speed and scale of these new developments. The region's security map had been redrawn overnight. The game had changed, and the world was now watching to see what would happen next. Washington's Indo-Pacific strategy has shifted dramatically in recent years, moving away from the days of solo policing and unilateral action. Now the focus is on building a resilient, interconnected network of allies and partners, each playing a vital role in regional security. China's rapid military rise and assertive actions in the region have forced the U.S. to rethink its approach. No longer could it bear the burden of security alone, nor could it afford to act in isolation. Enter a bold, new proposal. Taiwan, with strong U.S. backing, would help fund and support the development of Philippine military bases, deepening regional ties. The idea, born from a U.S. Congressional Commission, was both radical and pragmatic, an innovative response to a rapidly changing security environment. This initiative would significantly strengthen the Philippines' defense capabilities, give the U.S. more reliable access to key locations in the region, and empower Taiwan to take a more active role in shaping its own security, rather than remaining a passive recipient of aid. For decades, U.S. support for Taiwan focused almost exclusively on self-defense. Now, Taiwan could become a security provider, not just a recipient, marking a significant shift in its regional role. This move blurs the line between unofficial and official ties, raising the stakes for all involved and signaling a new era of cooperation. Beijing sees any military cooperation with Taiwan as a grave provocation, warning of serious consequences for such actions. The U.S. aims to deter China by making any invasion of Taiwan too costly, using creative, shared defense measures and leveraging the strengths of its allies. But the risk is immense. This new approach could justify more aggressive Chinese action, increasing the potential for confrontation. The strategy is untested and the outcome uncertain, but the message is clear. Deterrence now means collective resilience and shared responsibility. The region's security is no longer America's burden alone. It is a shared challenge, demanding unity and cooperation. The stakes have never been higher, and the world is watching to see how this new alliance will shape the future of the Indo-Pacific. Taiwan's bold move today echoes the strategy Israel adopted in the 1970s, when it was a small, isolated nation facing existential threats on all sides. Back then, Israel built crucial alliances, leveraged its unique position, and actively shaped its environment to ensure its survival. The parallels are striking as both nations have had to think creatively and act decisively in the face of overwhelming odds. Today, Taiwan stands as a vibrant democracy, but it is overshadowed by the looming presence of an authoritarian giant, China. The threat is not just military but also political and economic, making Taiwan's situation even more precarious. Years of diplomatic isolation and heavy reliance on US support have forced Taipei to rethink its future and consider new strategies for survival. The ongoing war in Ukraine has underscored the limits of international guarantees and the dangers of depending solely on promises from other nations. Taiwan's leaders now realize that a purely defensive posture is not enough to deter aggression or ensure long-term security. By reaching out to the Philippines, Taiwan is seeking not just friendship, but strategic depth, a buffer zone that could help shield it from Chinese aggression and buy precious time in a crisis. Funding Philippine bases would complicate any Chinese blockade or invasion, making Beijing's plans riskier, more unpredictable, and far costlier than before. The risks are real. Provoking China could invite swift and severe retaliation, both militarily and economically. Yet, for many in Taiwan, inaction is seen as a far greater danger, one that could lead to isolation or even subjugation. By taking these bold steps, Taiwan is signaling to the world that it won't simply wait for others to decide its fate. It is taking charge of its own destiny. Like Israel before it, Taiwan is fighting for survival with alliances, strategy, and unwavering resolve, determined to shape its own future no matter the odds. Direct military cooperation between Taiwan and the Philippines is politically explosive. To avoid crossing Beijing's red lines, the proposal relies on indirect funding, money laundered through intermediaries. The US could act as facilitator, channeling Taiwanese funds through existing aid programs, making the support official but discreet. Alternatively, grants could flow through NGOs or private firms, framing upgrades as civilian projects with dual-use potential. This financial gymnastics provides plausible deniability for Manila and Taipei, even as the real purpose is clear to all. The goal strengthened Philippine defenses without handing China a clear pretext for escalation. Beijing's anger is inevitable, but ambiguity complicates its response. Managing appearances is as crucial as the funding itself. The Luzon Strait, separating Taiwan from the Philippines, is a strategic choke point, vital for both China's ambitions and US-led defense. Control of this strait means access to the Pacific and the ability to encircle or defend Taiwan. Bases in northern Philippines, especially Batanes, are the gatekeepers. For Taiwan, friendly bases here are a matter of survival. For the US, they're essential for rapid response and forced dispersal. The Philippines, too, seeks to protect its sovereignty and economic zone from Chinese encroachment. By upgrading these bases, Manila gains leverage, security, and investment. The partnership turns geography into a defensive asset. The Luzon Strait becomes a contested zone, complicating any Chinese blockade. Regional security now hinges on these critical outposts. China's military transformation is the driving force behind these new alliances. The PLA Navy is now the world's largest, backed by advanced technology and aggressive tactics. Artificial islands, missile deployments, and gray zone coercion have become routine in the South China Sea. China's goal: assert control without triggering open conflict, using Coast Guard and militia as proxies. This relentless pressure keeps Taipei, Manila, and Washington on edge. The Taiwan-Philippines proposal is a direct response, building a network to counter China's incremental advances. The region's future depends on resilience and cooperation. Taiwan's porcupine strategy aims to make invasion too costly for China. The new proposal extends this defense beyond Taiwan's shores, hardening Philippine bases as an outer layer. These positions would force China to fight on multiple fronts, complicating any invasion plan. Intelligence, surveillance, and missile deployments in Luzon could threaten Chinese movements and encirclement efforts. For Taiwan, a stronger Philippines is a strategic buffer. For the region, it's defense in depth. But this proactive stance risks severe Chinese retaliation, economic, military, or both. Taiwan is betting that a robust, integrated defense network outweighs the dangers, the stakes, deterrence, or escalation. It's a high-risk, high-reward gamble. Survival demands boldness. For the Philippines, the arrangement offers security, modernization, and economic benefits. Upgraded bases mean better defense and jobs for local communities. The partnership elevates Manila's status with the US, strengthening its ultimate security guarantee. It's also a clear message to Beijing: the Philippines will not be intimidated. The Marcos administration has reversed Duterte's accommodation, reaffirming alliances and pushing back against Chinese coercion. But the risks are real. China is a major trading partner, and Philippine bases could become targets in a conflict. Manila is making a calculated bet. The gains in security and sovereignty outweigh the dangers. The Philippines is using its geography to assert agency. The path is risky, but the alternative is vulnerability. Beijing's backlash is certain: sanctions, military drills, and diplomatic fury. China sees this as a violation of its core interests and a dangerous precedent. The risk of escalation is real. A miscalculation could spiral into conflict, drawing in the US under its defense treaty with Manila. The region is entering a new era. Old ambiguities are giving way to hardened alliances. Two camps are emerging, one led by China, the other by a US-centered network determined to preserve a free and open order. Taiwan's proposal signals that threatened nations are no longer willing to stand alone. They are pooling resources, building resilience, and preparing for an uncertain future. The lines are being drawn. The stakes could not be higher. The Indo-Pacific security order is being rewritten, one bold move at a time.